We are going to continue on working on our Spring Boot application, building it into a REST service. So what we're going to do in this lesson is add an entity class for JPA. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and create a package to put our entities in. So we're going to go to New, Package, just type Entity, and Finish. We now have our new package here, and we're going to go ahead and put the class in there. I'm going to make a class and call it Team. It's basically going to represent like a sports team. Simple class. So new class, call it Team. Everything else can stay the same, and we'll click Finish. That'll generate the shell here. We're going to go ahead and add an annotation for JPA called @entity. And if we want to hover over that, we can hit import entity from Java X Persistence to pull it in. Next, we are going to add our attributes. So first we'll start with the ID, private, and we're going to use another annotation here, @ID, so that JPA knows it's an ID. We're going to use @generated value because we want it to be a generated value, auto-created, and it's going to be a long, and we'll name it ID. Do the same thing with ID and generated value to import them from Java X Persistence. Then we're going to create the rest of our attributes. These will just be normal for now. We're going to do private string name for the name of the team, private string coach, private string age, private string year, private string season. Then we're going to go ahead and just use the built-in code generator to generate some of the simpler code. We're going to go down, we're going to right click and go to source. We'll go ahead and generate constructor using fields. So first we want an empty constructor, so deselect all, generate. That gives us our empty constructor. Then we're going to want to create another constructor. So source, generate constructor again. This time we are going to use everything except for ID. So uncheck ID and click generate. So now we have our constructor minus the ID. Next we're going to generate our getters and setters. Source, generate getters and setters. We're going to go ahead and do all and generate. So that generates all the gets and sets that we need for the object. We need a couple more things to finish this. We're going to generate a few more things here. Source, generate hash code and equals. We're going to go ahead and leave everything selected here, generate. Alright, so that gives us our hash code and our equals object, and we're going to do one more. Source, generate our toString. And again, we're going to keep everything checked here and generate. Alright. And then I'm going to save. That should complete our object. So entity tells us that it's a JPA entity. This tells us that it's an ID and a generated value for this attribute. And that's all we need to get our attribute or to get our entity going. So we'll pick up in the next lesson.